beans. Just got the word that you can see it, which is great. Let's hope you can also see the second part. But okay, so can everybody hear us at the back? That's great.
Excellent.
Okay, so I'm Vili. This is my colleague Niila. We are here to talk about pair programming, which is something we've been doing for a while now. If you have any questions at any point, please just go ahead and stop us. So, about us.
Like Vili said, I'm Niila. Prior to us starting to work together as a pair programmer pair, I had no Python experience at all. I used to be a Java developer mostly, and I'm a real pair programmer these days. And I'm more of a master of all trades and grandmaster of none.
Yeah. Hi, as I said before, I'm Vili. Unlike Niila, I'm a native Python programmer, so that's the first thing I ever learned. In a project where we work together at work I'm the senior in a project, so I've been working there for a bit longer. Been also acting as a poor man's architect lately, trying to build our infrastructure and making the whole software's design somehow smarter. I'm also a professional pair programmer. Yeah, but that's enough about us, I guess. Oh yeah, and we've been now pair programming for like
about a year. Yeah, about a year.
Pretty much every day. So, we did some research actually. We're not just bullshitting you guys here.
Yeah, we did some research, and these are white papers, so they're actually released in respectable journals and stuff. So this is valid stuff.
Yeah. So we wanted to know if there's some academic proof about the benefits of pair programming, and it was actually quite easy to find.
So about the benefits and costs and everything like that. So basically, there's an increase in development time when you start to do pair programming at the start. Mm-hmm. And the amount of defects that actually benefits from pair programming drops by 15%. So it's about zero-sum game. Yeah. Except it's more when you consider that fixing bugs and stuff at a later time takes more money, so it's actually more.
Yeah, and later on, the initial development time slowness kind of disappears as well. There's also some proof that the software's design significantly improves, and it enhances the technical skills of both of the participants. Mm-hmm. And the staffing risk is significantly reduced because if one person leaves the project, then the other one still is completely familiar with the code base, so no worries there.
Yeah, and it also improves soft skills because you get a lot better improved communication within the team itself. I mean, like our team has more than just two of us, and we all got improved communication because we can relay our thoughts better for everyone else as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's definitely more enjoyable. Okay. Technical hiccups? No worries, I'll carry on. So this research by fellows at the Down, I'm not going to try to pronounce those. This was more like a survey on developers, and on the left side we have the pros, and on the right side we have the cons. So people found that when you're pair programming, you do significantly less bugs, and it spreads the understanding of the code base among the whole team.
And you get higher quality, and you can learn from your partner, like we mentioned earlier, and you get really better design. These guys who were interviewed for this all pretty much said that you get better design, and you get these constant reviews, kind of like as a side product, because someone else is looking at the code all the time, and two heads are better than one, at least in most cases.
And usually the testing and debugging also gets better because, well, it's usually kind of troubleshooting, and it's easier to do in teams, and it significantly improves the morale in the team because, well, it's more fun to work together.
Yeah.
All in all.
And also you get to brainstorm better. You get to make crazy propositions like, will this work? And the guy on the other side is going to be like, no, that's not going to work. So you can shoot pretty much anything on the air and you get shot down if it's not worth it.
That's true. As we can see, these are quite well reflecting the thoughts on the previous paper. There's also the cons about the cost efficiency, and there's some issues which we also ran into, that there's problems with scheduling. So if the people have different working hours, it can be troublesome because when you work as a team, you kind of both have to be there.
Yeah.
There's problems with personality clashes, so you need to actually get along with each other. So there's no reason really to go with this plan if you don't like each other.
Yeah, and you can get to disagreements more easily because you're working on the same topic and you have to actually get an agreement when you're working towards to it. And the skill differences may be a problem.
Yeah, but I would actually argue that that's going to
Yeah.
also be a benefit. At least it was for us. We both learned a ton from each other because we had different strengths and weaknesses, and we basically, within a year, both have learned from each other's strengths and kind of covered our own weaknesses in these areas.
And we don't have our own styles anymore. We got the style we use.
Yeah, we kind of reinvented our programming style nowadays.
But it's hard to find a partner, according to this research as well, that partner you can actually relate to and work with as a pair programmer.
Yeah,
It
people
takes a
say
lot.
that is a problem. But there's a lot of these like smaller ones. These were the not so commonly said, but it's hard to reward and metricize, like measure how well the team is doing. But I think these are more like a management issues and can have a bad communication if you don't get along as well. One more paper. This is kind of a summary paper which we liked. Pair programming in general, it produces a better quality in a shorter time, which we totally agree on.
And it's more enjoyable. It's totally more enjoyable. I actually am coming to work when I'm already expecting we're doing something amazing today as well. And it actually improves your own technical abilities and your self-confidence about what you can do, because you can trust on this stuff that I'm doing is actually good because the other guy is approving it as well.
Yeah, you're getting kind of your work reviewed, so not only you're more confident about your code, but about your designs and decisions. So when you're having let's say, customer meetings or you need to present your ideas to somebody, they're kind of already battle-tested with each other, so you gain confidence not just on the keyboard, but also in the meeting rooms.
Yeah, and you also get to actually keep up to good practices despite everything else that's going around. Even if your boss is telling you, you should hurry now, and you're like, the other guy's like, no, we're gonna do this the right way, this one go, and we don't have to come back to it again.
It's easier to hold up to standards that you have taken up with each other when the one of you is trying to slip out of them, the other one usually catches the issue. And then there's a positive peer pressure, which I have noticed several times. So if I'm feeling really lazy and I don't really kind of feel like doing much and I feel like it's a terrible day, if my colleague is having a normal day, he can usually pull me up and like, come on, dude, we can do this. And then the off day becomes just a normal day.
Yep.
Okay, so that's enough about the academic parts. Now, I hope you kind of believe us now that it's a good idea.
So okay, let's get down to the hands-on experience. So we have been doing this since January, I think.
So we kind of went through different stages of our pair programming journey, and I believe many of the other people who have done this for extensive periods of time have gone through similar journeys. So the first stage in our journey was just kind of two guys hanging out. Niida had just joined our project, and he was not familiar with the code base, and neither with the language. Yeah,
so we had this startup on the project that we're going to rewrite some legacy code as a new code. And the language decided was Python, because the previous one was Python as well, and it actually suited the project very well. And I was like, okay, I have to learn Python, so I'm hanging out and trying to learn Python, and we're working on this project. And it kind of sort of started there, but then it went to more than just learning Python from a senior.
Yeah. So next we moved to this, what we like to call the SIT way. This is kind of closer to the original pair programming, which was invented as a part of extreme programming, like a kind of a master and a puppet kind of a way, that one guy codes and one guy kind of has the great ideas and expresses their ideas about what we should be doing, and the other guy is more like this as a pair of hands. But we quickly took this also a little bit forward.
Yeah, we kept changing the master and puppet all the time. Sometimes we just worked for an hour or something, and then we just switched on with pairs. And what was different but that we constantly had these conversations about how to do things, what the code should look like, how to do these things, what are the abstraction levels, how to name things.
Yeah, this naming is it's a good point. I would like to take a moment on it. So basically, when you usually code alone and you just, okay, I have a variable, like what should I call it? You just throw in a name and you don't really consider about it that much. But when you as a pair, you kind of have to, like, what is the right name for this thing? Because names do more than just store variables. They kind of drive your code. Like, if you name your code in a certain way, it kind of guides how the design will be as well, because it kind of just affects how you think about things.
Yeah, and it also makes it so that when other people are coming after us and they're going to look at this, it's going to be more clear for them what the stuff actually does because it's named properly.
Yeah. We also discussed about abstractions and generalizations a lot. So we like to write a code which is kind of generic, and we can reuse as much functions as possible. We like to have functions as functions and data as data, so I'm a big fan of pure functions. And we try to think about things like, how can we make this so that it's easy to test? How can we have as much pure functions as possible and as little side effects as possible?
Yep. And we made a lot of testing.
Yeah.
Everything's tested pretty much.
Pretty much every inch. Yeah.
When the other guy is like, I'm writing this, and the other guy is like, what about the test? We need to have the tests for them.
Yeah, we had also situations that we can do that the other guy already starts working on the test while the other guy is working on the code itself, which kind of makes it a continuous journey instead of like code, test,
Yep.
code, test. Okay, so this was fun. But
then we went onwards.
Yeah, full
Shared
disclosure
ideas.
on this one. We ran into a funny article written by Wunderdog on Medium. I think it was a kind of, do we have anybody from Wunderdog here, by the way? Okay, great. You know this paper?
Yes, I do.
That's great. We enjoyed it greatly.
That's great.
Was it a troll paper?
No, it's real.
Okay, great. Because we read it and we were not quite sure if it's a troll or not.
But we still wanted to try it out.
Yeah,
though.
we thought it's a fun idea.
It's a real thing written in a very nice, funny way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was called, they invented this thing called warp drive, star controller, robot hands. Yeah, something like that. I should have written it down, I'm sorry about that. It's impossible to remember. Anyway, funny paper, we decided to give it a try. So the idea is that we share an IDE. So we write in the same editor from 2 different computers. And, well, we actually did it for a while.
Yeah, we did it for like a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, almost a month, I think.
Yeah.
So we found it was really, really fun, and it was really effective. But on the other hand, it was...
It was very demanding, and it kind of was exhausting.
Yeah,
it took a long time to get recover from working with the same idea, because usually when you come to work and you're having happy thoughts and everything, and after a day of working with this, like feeling like, oh God, what have I done today? It's been so long day.
Yeah, you had to kind of juggle more things in your mind. You need to hold so many thoughts at once, because you not only follow what you're writing in your files, but also what your colleague might be changing at the same time. So you basically are having more balls in the air at the same time. But we got more stuff done, definitely. So.
And there were no merge conflicts.
Yeah, it was a great difference that because we actually worked on the same files, we almost never got. It was basically impossible to get a merge conflict. But as a kind of consequence,
Side effect, I'd say.
yeah, we got much larger commits. And the focus of those commits was also a little bit poor, because it was easy to just, oh, you're changing that. Well, let's change that too. And then you just ended up having a lot of stuff done in one commit, which can be a pain if somebody needs to review that stuff.
Yeah, and it was kind of hard for the others to actually follow what we were doing when we did a commit and they were reading it. They were like, why are you doing so many things at the same time? Like, no merge conflicts, man. No merge conflicts.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. But
all right. Let's do a small demo about how we did that on stage 3.
I really hope the screen thing is going to work again.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it disappeared. That's great.
All right. Broke again. Does it work?
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Yes.
It appeared.
Now we're getting something.
That is great. Okay.
So we're using Visual Studio Live Share. If anybody used that before?
So it's a plugin for Visual Studio Code, which you can like have Niila's cursor is that purple one over there. Like he can write there. And this is my editor, and also he has an access to my terminal, which can be scary.
Yeah.
So my terminal is down here, I believe. Yes. That's great. Okay. So we're just going to code something real simple today. We're going to make like a fizz bus with pure functions, or mostly pure functions, and we're going to write some tests for it. So,
shall we start?
Yeah, let's start.
What do you want to do first?
So I'm going to write this function called fizz, and I'm going to give it 2 variables, a text and a number.
All right, so I'm going to test your function then here.
Yeah, and if the number is divisible by 3, we're going to return the text
All right.
plus fizz.
All right. So if I try it with the text 0 with nothing in it, then let's say 3, it should return what? 3, right?
No, just the text, I believe.
No, it's a 3. Isn't it?
No.
Oh yeah, you're right. It should return a fizz, right? Okay,
Give it a try.
I'm gonna try it.
Okay, it passed.
No, it passed fine.
Okay, so let's write a similar one, which is a bus.
All right.
Which is does the same thing, but with the number 5.
With a number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So it should return. Oh. With the 5 should return a bus, right?
Yeah. And
Right.
then we're gonna need also something that checks if we need to print the number or the text, whatever
All right.
it is. So let's write a text or num,
Text or no?
which takes the same variables, I believe.
All right.
And I need to scroll a bit. So here, if the length of the text is greater than 0, we're going to print the text. Or return the text, actually, sorry. And other than that, we're going to return the string of the number.
All right.
Okay,
Will this work?
seems to work.
Yeah.
Okay, and then just some boring loop to actually finish that up.
I'm gonna test the cases where it shouldn't work. I should give the different stuff, I suppose.
Why is it complaining?
You have annotation? No, just finish it.
Yeah.
All right, does it work? No, there's a bug.
Oh no, what did you do?
I don't know. I'm writing test fizz and I'm having a bug. It shouldn't be an. What? Okay. Try testing it.
What did you do?
I broke it.
I also have a bug. This is going great.
Okay, my test
Oh, I have
worked.
here a mistake. Great. So tests pass,
On a 0, it gave a wrong return, by the way.
and I have a mistake here as well. You should be catching this.
What? No. Of course I'm catching it. Right? It
Okay,
works, but you don't.
nothing print.
You maybe should add a print on it.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. That work?
Okay.
Oh, now it works.
Seems to work.
Yes,
I
just
think.
fine.
I hope so. Dude, I think we should also put some types here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I forgot you like types. So let's
Yeah,
have
if
types
you haven't
here.
tried typing Python, I highly recommend it. It's much better. Basically, if you type Python, your IDE can catch errors before you actually run your code. I think these would actually have been catched even beforehand. It doesn't do anything on runtime about them. It just kind of is message for you and
Yep.
IDE. It's basically documentation.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes it easier when somebody else is working on it, at least.
Yeah, especially when you have a larger code base. It's nicer.
Yeah, I think you have a bug in the code, though. With a 0, it's going to give you a fizz.
Yeah, but I'm not printing a 0.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I do here,
Well,
it's going to be a bug. No, it's Python. Here, see. With a 0, it gives a fizz.
I don't think anybody can see that.
No, probably not. All right.
Okay. Do you want to fix it?
No, I don't feel like it.
Okay.
It's not relevant
I
for
think
this
you guys
anyway.
got the point. What's the idea here?
Yeah.
It's quite fun when you're doing it, but as I said, it can be really stressful. Let's hope this works again. I don't think it will.
Oh, now we're seeing something.
Are we?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
cool.
All right.
Okay, let's move forward.
Yeah, that was the demo.
So, after doing this, we kind of... Are you guys still, by the way, using that at Wunderdog? I just want to know.
It's not a thing that we use as a company, but it's a thing that these two employees do. They're working together, and they were working a long time together in a project.
Okay.
All right. So kind of like us then.
Yeah, kind of. We actually got kind of from IT security people said that you shouldn't do it because it goes through some cloud. So that's kind of like a no-go if you're having some third-party data. You might not want it to end up in Microsoft Cloud.
Yeah, that's why we had to stop using it.
Yeah.
For our mental sake as well.
Yeah, we actually stopped before it was forbidden.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, it was way too much for us.
yeah, it was. So we noticed that we were totally too exhausted after the day of work, but it was faster. So I think that if we would have to have a death march, one weekend to get a ton of things done, I think
We could use it.
Yeah, I would
I'd use
consider
it.
using it again,
Yeah.
but not for day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
So now we have moved forward in our pair programming into something we like to call Stack Overflow-driven development 2.0.
Yeah, it kind of works like we're still doing the pair programming, just
Yeah.
the two of us, usually.
But we stick to our own computers.
We stick to our own computers, yeah. We don't share the ID anymore. But what we do is when we encounter a problem which needs, let's say, a bit of Googling, the other guy can separate for a bit and find the answer and then return to basically to the pair programming. I got the answer here. We can use this.
You can really often when you're coding, you can see issue coming before it appears. You know that, okay, I need to code this thing, and here I need to use this library, which I know exists, but I have no idea what kind of interface that library has. But I'm still in a zone, and I want to keep on writing, and I would like to have the documentation or understand how this thing works or how should I be using it. So I can be still typing and asking, hey, can you fetch me this documentation, or how does this thing work? And the other guy can serve as a butler and go grab that documentation, and still kind of at the same time contribute into the pair programming activities.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like pair programming probably to some, but it's more like a guideline.
Yeah, it's a guideline anyway. Yeah, this is what we've been doing now for half a year, I guess.
More like 4 months, I think.
Yeah, but I think we haven't really changed from here, so I think we're going to stick with this one. This one has been really good for us, and it gets the benefits of brainstorming and this sharing ideas and etc. And some people would say that this is slowing us down because only one of us is coding, but I believe that only about 5% of the time of developer is actually writing. Less of it is figuring out what should I be writing. So we focus more on the idea of thinking it through before we actually start doing it, and we do it once and we do it well. So I don't like to brag, but I think since we started doing this, I noticed that we really rarely have to touch the issues that we have already solved. We have very few defects. Most of our defects are due to not defining the issue properly or not having the requirements in order.
Yeah, the requirements, if they change, we have to get back to it.
But usually we don't have issues in our code itself. So this seems to be valuable for us as well. Okay, so some final remarks, I guess.
A summary, you could say.
Yeah.
There's more than one way to do this.
Yeah. So
we tried many ways, and some of them work better than others for us, it seems.
Yeah. So we're not working in this project alone. There is actually 4 of us, and we've been trying to. Last spring, we were trying to enforce pair programming practices. Encourage, enforce, whatever, in our team. And we had 4 people, and we tried to make it so that everybody works with everybody, and every week. We noticed that some of these team combinations work better than the others, and some of these combinations work, almost all of them work completely differently. So there is no one size fits them all kind of a situation. Some of them are more not 24/7 kind of thing like we have, but more once a week or a few hours a day, or maybe it's more you don't work so intensively except when it's an issue. It kind of takes as many forms as there is possible combinations.
And some people kind of see that it's more beneficial for them to work alone at first, and then when both have studied the problem, they solve it together.
Yeah.
So we just solve and study it together usually. And it doesn't have to be a 24-hour-7 activity. We don't have it anymore as a 24-hour.
Yeah. We now code with other people as well.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So there is no magic bullets, really. This is not for everyone. I wouldn't kind of force it on somebody who doesn't like people, for example, or doesn't get along with anybody.
Yeah, this is an important point. Don't try to force anybody to code with somebody, especially if they don't like each other. You're gonna end up in a cat fight or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And there is no single superior technique. We tried many techniques.
Yeah, we had a learning curve. It took a while for us to find our way, and I think every team or combination who does this will also have their own kind of kickstart time.
Yeah, but once you get to the speed and everything is going smoothly, it's amazing. You get stuff done so fast, the backlog is emptying, and everything's going so damn well.
It almost feels like somebody's flushing the backlog.
Yeah, it does.
But there is also issues still. We noticed, especially when we're doing this like every day, all day, we noticed that we created this codependency, that when the other guy is not at the office or is working from home, you kind of feel like you don't get stuff done anymore as well alone as you used to, and you can't really tackle issues as well alone, because you kind of feel like, okay, I'm having this crazy idea, but is somebody gonna vouch for it? Can I do this?
It's like missing a limb or fingers or something like that. It just doesn't feel the same. And the other problem is that if you're not working at the same hours...
Yeah, if your rhythm is different.
Then there's a huge problem, because if you, let's say I would start at the 7 a.m. and he comes at 11, there's this big gap between I do something and he's not there, and I have to explain to him what I'm doing if he wants to jump into it. So it's a big issue.
And there's like this black hours in the beginning and at the end of the day, and because of this issue with the codependency, you kind of like half-powered in the beginning and the end. So you kind of, I would really recommend that if you're gonna do this a lot, you will do it with somebody who is at the office when you are at the office.
Or somewhere else.
Yeah, or wherever you have, if you want to do it in a coffee place or whatever. Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Except that it's great. You should try it out if you never have tried it out before. It's totally worth the effort to actually get to know somebody on such a level that you can actually work with them so intimately as to sharing your ideas. Maybe that will work for you. Let us know if it works for you.
How many of you have tried pair programming before?
Oh, there's plenty of people here who have tried pair programming. Excellent.
How many are going to try pair programming after this? That's like 3 hands. Very depressing. No, then. We're not. Okay.
Right. Any questions?
Wait for the mic so people can hear.
What was the ramp-up time for you? Or
like to get started in the very beginning, well, it was a bit slower because Niila was also learning the language and the code base in general, but I would say we got to full speed in about a month.
Yeah, about a month.
Not saying that we were like slacking the month, we were just a little bit behind.
Any other questions?
Hi. You said that for core programming, like how do you cope up with disagreements?
Well, we usually discuss them through, like when we're having an issue, we usually don't get to coding before we have reached an agreement. So,
sometimes it takes more than just a few minutes.
Yeah,
sometimes it takes an hour or maybe 2.
And I would actually say that these are the moments when it's most beneficial, because when you're having a disagreement about something in your work, like how should you do things, it usually probably means that it's not optimal and it's gonna be unclear for somebody else. So when you reach a
consensus about how to do it,
then you probably have reached a situation where it is understandable for third parties without explanations.
Did you ever had conflicts in the code that you were doing? Because you guys were saying that you were working on the same file.
When we were using the IDE, that one we displayed now, we don't ever get merge conflicts because we're using the same editor. It's on his computer right now, and I'm just in this session where I can use his computer basically with my own editor.
It's like tethering to my computer over the internet and then moving things over there. He doesn't actually even have the file on his computer that we were editing. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Great. Run, Jarkko, run.
I will. Keep it close to your mouth. Okay, so do you think senior-junior is the best pair, or would junior-junior, senior-senior work too?
I see benefits to junior-junior team as well. It doesn't have to necessarily be a senior.
Yeah, I actually think all of those combinations would work, but some of the academic papers were saying that the senior-senior combination is kind of a wasted effort. I think all the companies should have enough junior people to match them together with seniors. So if your organization has only seniors, maybe there is a time to recruit some juniors to match them up with, because you're kind of missing half of the, it works, but you're missing on a great potential on teaching the juniors, because I personally think this is the best way to learn from your seniors.
But I'd see that if you got junior, and you could still implement some senior guy to look, kind of like be their, what did you call it?
Hover over,
tutor them. I think that would work as well. The senior doesn't have to be there full time for the juniors to actually work if you're having a pair of juniors.
And especially because you don't have to have constant pairs. We also didn't have constant pairs when we started. So we can have like a bunch of juniors who are pairing with each other, and in a whole group you have like one senior who's kind of moving around and pairing from time to time with each of them. I think they can quite effectively share the knowledge. Share.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you said that you kind of opened up your relationship, so you have had like pair coding with your entire team in a way, so you are switching pairs and stuff. Have you ever considered mob coding, like coding with the entire team?
We actually do that as well when we have like more critical situations usually. If something really screws up or something we just can't understand, it works, but I don't think the value is as great as in pair programming. But sometimes you just have issues that requires kind of all hands on deck situation.
We usually use it when there's something on flames, or
Yeah.
when stuff has happened, we need everyone to work on the same issue. Then we use the mob coding, and it does work, but
I think it's better for firefighting kind of situations.
Any more questions?
What do you think? What does it require from the team around you, or sort of, if you would set up a team that you guys are programming in, what would be the things that the team should do?
They should tolerate talking and noise. Like also not only our team, but at other teams around us. We have had a lot of complaints from a team who sits quite close to us about our noise levels. But our previous Scrum Master, Pyry, who I believe is somewhere at the back, I can't see the guy with the hand over there, he has done a great job defending us from those guys. We don't have to fight with them at all. He took care of that. But yeah, earplugs. Noise cancelling headphones are great.
All right, I got a comment from the original authors of the paper you referenced, and for the optimal experience in this shared IDE programming, you need to have this battlecruiser x-robot hand thing, where one of you is the battlecruiser, who is doing the primary job and giving these small tasks to the robot hand, who is the other pair.
That is what we actually were doing most of the time. Usually what we did is that we actually write most of the code on one guy's editor. Like now I was writing the code, the business logic, and Niila was focusing mostly on the tests. But also like what we found very effective is that when one guy is having a kind of flow moment and just going on with the code, and the other guy noticed that you made a typo, for example, above, you don't have to stop your colleague, like say that, hey dude, you made a typo over there, can you scroll up there? But you can just move your own cursor there and fix it, or you can add comments and doc strings and let the other guy just flow on.
Yeah, but it's really great that you guys tried this thing, and the people who wrote the original article send their regards, and thank you for this.
Oh, Janks.
Thank you very much.
It was a great paper, by the way.
It was.
Is that
Other
all?
questions? If not, then we'll thank you, fine gentlemen, with applause.
Thank you.